Number 7, Novella Ermelindo Orlando. Number 8, Machavi Afonso. Number 9, Ubise Elton Sergio. Number 10, Macaringue Francisco Macha. Number 11, Machete Custodio Añao. Number 12, Magolicho Octavio Gregorio. Number 13, Caivas Milton Cesar Eligio. Number 14, Chire Inelcio Carlos Joaquim. And number 15, Geneto Ronaldo. Name of the coach is Josefa Inaka Martin Garcia and Cesar Antanasio Muccio. African team, number 4, Sichol Tabo. Number 6, Gabriel Stefan. Number 7, Selepe Lebesa. Number 9, Guayjana Kajizo. Number 10, Maranele Sane. Number 11, Sitole Sahil. Number 12, Motiba Neo. Number 13, Wander Biji Jonathan. Number 14, Gobeni Sakani. Number 15, Tolo Logondolo. Number 21, Gabriel Christopher. And number 23, Prinsloo Pieter. Name of the coach, Greg Klistries and Sergio Oganevish Pali. The name of the referees, Al Sharif from Morocco, Mr. Shema from Rwanda, and T. Benzo from RDC, Republic Democratic of Congo. Commissaire du match, Monsieur Dofonou du Sénégal. On va passer aux hymnes nationales. National team from Mozambique. Toyo Mujo. National team, South Africa. Let's go. Everybody stand up, please. Mozambique.
you.
Deuxième journée AfroBasket FIBA, ici au Sénégal, en direct du Stade Marussia et de la RTS, la télévision nationale, Mozambique, South Africa. Et c'est parti pour le premier match de ce soir.
of the ball game are on the board, and they're in the favor of Mozambique. Canavetti getting the bucket. Prinsloo lets fly from three-point range, and South Africa respond immediately.
And that is big for South Africa after struggling so much from behind the arc at the start of their last game against Senegal. They did pick it up a little bit in the second half, though.
Canavetti drives in. Obisi with the spin move off the glass. Got caught from behind by Peter Prinsloo, so it'll be 2 free throws.
And Dan, that's one thing, though, that the bigs on South Africa, specifically Prinsloo and Gabriel, have to remind themselves is that they have the height advantage already, standing at 6'10 and 6'11 respectively, well above the height of Ubisi. And even when Ubisi is leaving the ground and trying to follow through with that shot, all they really have to do is keep their hands up and cause enough distraction.
Forward comes South Africa. Gabriel lobs inside. Off the glass, doesn't go. Rebound pulled in by Machale. Shot is easily grabbed by Gabriel on the rebound. Still trying to get through, ball stolen away. And Mozambique have numbers here. Dump back in a good fast break, eventually finished off by Magalito. Offensive foul called against Christopher Gabriel in the low post. Just trying to establish position, but using his body illegally. Well, South Africa showing full court pressure. They're not actually really delivering it. And it's easily across the line. Shot off the mark from Magalito. 3 minutes in, 5-3 the lead for Mozambique. Again, South Africa throw it into Gabriel. This time the double team comes down and Canavetti knocks it loose. And that
nobody even attempted an outside jump shot yet. Is that defense? In transition. Too busy face guarding on the weak side. Where's the help? Where's the help? Everybody is below the ball line, weak side, and stepping in. Somebody take a charge. I don't see no short blockers here. Somebody take a charge and get in the way. Come on.
Don't worry about the extra pass. If he go in the lane, he makes extra pass. That's good defense.
We got two of the continent's more southerly teams. South Africa way down on the tip, and their neighbours Mozambique going head-to-head for a little southern bragging rights.
Two of the scrappier teams in this tournament for sure, and without a doubt in Group D.
South Africa come forward with Tony. Back down, but the shot didn't have enough on it from again, just a little easy down the lane. There's eventually a challenge by Vanderbilt, but the fact that Canavetta got that close to the basket is a bit worrying. It just goes past the front of the defense.
Yeah, at the very least, you've got to be happy that Vanderbilt is the one that picked up the check in that sense. Decided to go over with the help. The help on no defense there.
Thurlow getting all the way to the basket, and the Bishop is a little late on the rotation.
Just have to imagine maybe the humidity might be having a factor on both of these teams right now defensively.
Driving to the basket, draws the foul. Over to the line for two. Yeah, again, just got the quick step. I think I'm not there quite in time this time.
I was going to say, Dan, how many times did we see this yesterday, though, where a lot of teams, they had a lot of energy coming out in the first quarter. I don't have a doubt in my mind, though, moving forward, that you're going to see the pace slow down just a little bit. The reaction time right now of the defense, as slow as it's been, they're going to start understanding keep in mind, both of these teams haven't faced each other in about 5 or 6 years now, 5 years actually. When you have lack of awareness of your opponent, you're going to understand the tendencies after a while and make the defensive adjustments.
No adjustment on that, but not a great shot from the elder of the two Satoris. Vete, corner shot doesn't go.
One thing South Africa's got to be thankful for right now is that Mozambique's shooting woes continue behind the arc.
So let's fly, but there's nobody in to rebound his miss. And Vete gets an easy ball for Mozambique. Across the line comes Chimonza. He gets it back again. Chimonza moves it onto Miguelito. Sharpener. Busy trying to go to work in the paint. Off the glass as the shot clock expires.
Excellent shot there from Mubisi. Just able to get enough separation between him and his man. And Vanderbilt is doing a great job, hand in the face and everything. He did almost everything he could there. But Mubisi's shot just a little bit more skill there.
Ball loose almost, and good pass in the end. And on the right place, right time was Zaki Satoli.
One thing we're noticing here, though, Dan, Mozambique, they're that turnover ratio that they had going on against Egypt at the perimeter is not the case here.
Well, there's Uvisi turning one over right on cue.
Yep.
And the middle, under pressure, kicks out. It's only for three.
Vanderbilt, he's got to be a little bit more precise and more decisive when he gets the ball there.
Nice, great pass that in the first place from Canavete. Easy lay-in as it was for Mozambique, though.
And Mozambique, small ball is their game, and if they have more shirts than you, they're most likely going to score every time. And South Africa's finding that out the hard way as Mozambique is now up by 3.
Lepe throws it inside, and the Belgian a little better control that time, but not enough on the shot. Here comes Shimonzo. And he's bumped by Tholo.
Vanderbilt, he's got to work on that fadeaway just a little bit here as he's making a spin move. But let's take a look at the replay. Great passing there. And just constant movement without the ball. That is the most important thing that you can ask for if you're going to play small. If you're going to play small ball and you're going to be running up and down the floor, guys have to make sure that they're cutting in between lanes. They're talking to each other. It requires a lot of energy to do, but if you do it precisely, it's some pretty basketball.
Well, Mozambique leading currently by 3. Shimonzo at the free throw line can't make the first of 2 efforts.
He got 1 assist on 9 minutes so far.
But he does make the second.
Now he's on the board.
Pablo Sitoli brings it cross court. So we've got both the Sitoli brothers out there at the minute. I don't think they played at the same time yesterday, and that's an offensive foul, just using his arm to fend off the Sakali Sitoli.
You could see Sitoli reacting there and getting hit in the face. It's an easy call for the referee.
See, he just caught him right in the chin there. Canavetti was the defender. Ooh, they looked like they'd broken the press there, but the pass was a little bit behind Shimonzo, and that gave a chance to Schleppe, but it could only deflect it out of bounds. Canavetti thought about the 3, puts it on the floor instead, and he draws the contact, and he will go to the line for another couple of free throws.
Canavetti, he's been getting to the paint at will at this point. Every time a defender steps up, he's going right by them, and the help seems to be rotating too late every single time. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that the South African defense is kind of worried that there's going to be another man cutting to the basket for an easy layup if they come to help. But by the time they realize that Canavetti is going right up, they got no choice but to foul him.
Profit from the first free throw. Can he stretch the lead a bit further? Yes, he can. It's now 5-point advantage to Mozambique,
despite the fact that they haven't made a single 3.
Well, that's going to be, it's one of those fouls where it feels like a good gamble from Canavetti because he sees the ball and might be able to steal it, but when he doesn't get there, he ends up just bumping the guy out of bounds, and the referee has to give the foul because otherwise it goes down as a turnover. And Bill does it. Oh, poor pass, and it's stolen away. Bella running it back, trying to find some space, and he's foul going to the basket. And a lot of free throws here in this first quarter for Mozambique.
That's right. And when you look at the replay here, Vanderbilt looks like he got all ball on that, but maybe a little bit of the hand. He's visibly upset. But Novella is going to be able to get to the line now as a result. And this is the first. And once again, though, the free throw shooting woes continue. And it doesn't matter who you're facing in this tournament. You've got to try and be as consistent as possible from that free throw line, especially if your game is attacking the rim as consistently as Mozambique. Does make good on the second one, though.
Well, they're still around about 50% from the free throw line, which is not that great, but they are getting there, which is the upside to everything.
It is an improvement from yesterday.
Oh, nice shot. Really tough shot that from Baba Sitoli to round out the first quarter on the buzzer, hits a 3. And it hadn't been a great 10 minutes for South Africa, certainly the last 5 or 6 of them, but this shot to end it off for 3.
Sitoli
Very close to the line there. It's on the board as a 3, and that's all that matters. At the end of 1 in South Africa, 16 for that last 3, Mozambique 19. Well, let's have a look at the stats here from the first quarter, and it's the free throws that really leap out to me. 9 attempts from Mozambique. They've only made 5 of them, but South Africa haven't got to the line once yet.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the bigs had to come off early because of going into foul trouble, and Mozambique has taken full advantage of that, going right back to their game that they do best, which is constantly attacking the basket on the fast breaks. But South Africa, though, has been up to the challenge. They've, as you can see, the fast breaks here, just constant ball movement out in the open floor, and a much more relaxed team, it seems now, this time around. And there's Prinsloo. When he was on the floor, he was a problem going up against the undersized front court of Mozambique.
Well, that's the question now, because they got the big guys. Well, I can tell you the answer as we watch the rest of these replays. They got the big guys in early foul trouble. When do they go back to Prinsloo and to Gabriel? South Africa have done such a great job for them in the early going, and the answer now in Gabriel's case is right now. He's going to come back into the game here at the start of the second quarter. Shimonzo, Novella penetrates in, and then I think he was trying to find Shearer on the far side, but couldn't get it to him.
That's the factor, though, when you've got that kind of length on the floor now with Christopher Gabriel out there. You're going to look to see him try to deflect as many of those inside passes as he can.
Here's Gabriel, keen to make up for lost time. And there's a little pull of the shirt, you can see it coming right away from him. I assume it was on Shearer, as he was there in the background.
Gabriel, excellent decision there. A couple of ball fakes trying to get the defense to rotate off of the open man in the corner, as you see. And by that point, though, the Mozambique defense just kind of losing their patience and just starting to grab as much as they can.
He's waiting for the post up. Here it comes, but in the end he has to go the other way, and the shot clock starting to get low. Scully drives in off the glass too strong, and Shimonzo comes up with it, looking to push away and doing so effectively, but they can't get the bucket on the end of it. Ifash missing the layup.
Interesting decision there on the fast break. He did see some daylight, but as the defense help came over, he did have a wide open teammate right under the rim ready for it. Mozambique, they have to start looking for that extra pass on those fast breaks. That's how you run it effectively.
Wide open up the top is Selepe, but he can't make the shot. And who that touch last? It looked to me like it was Thabo Sitoli, and the referee was right on the spot. Agrees with that, and it'll be a Mozambique ball.
You see here as they're going for it, it's totally falling out.
Monzo. Lifto hands the ball over to Haifaj, who drives to the basket, and there's an unsportsmanlike foul there on Gabriel, and he has a look of shock on his face. The referee says through an elbow, and he's holding his head.
And to Gabriel's defense, if you look at the replay here.
Well, he does kind of throw one, but as you're about to say, I'm assuming Kaifash sort of landed on top of him, and he did kind of swing around to throw him off, and that's what the referee saw. And that's going to be his third foul. He's going to have to sit back down. He's
I don't know what is
barely played in this game.
In that situation, is he just supposed to hold him up then, or how do you, or just let him get down? How does he even get down if he jumped on top of you like that?
Well,
that's the only question I would have in that situation. I mean, it's two opposing players trying to go for the ball as well at the end of the day. You have to remember the ball was bouncing right back towards both of them, and it looked like Gabriel was, despite the fact that he was trying to get the defender off of him, he was still trying to go for the basketball.
well, Kaifash makes both free throws, and Mozambique's lead is 5. Well, a little slip there from Shimonzo, but he's able to keep his dribble. Now he gets into a bit of trouble, but he's helped out by Novella. They're scrambling a little bit here, but they end up with 3, so that's all good. Shimonzo from behind the arc.
And Shimonzo there, the importance of just being ready to receive the ball and let it fly, something you don't really get an opportunity to do very often. You have to make the most of those shots, and he did so right there.
Tiba gets a little bit of room, and that's all he needs for the 17-foot jump shot.
And Daniel, you can see the difference between those shots when they're going to miss and when they go in. It just looks so much smoother on the release. Guys know what they want to do with the ball when they get it.
Shearer knew what he wanted to do there, but he didn't get the result he was after. And here comes Barber Stokely. Putting back door is Matiba again, and the defense rotation not quite quick enough. Novella's going to get called for the foul.
Matiba had a rough game against Senegal, especially in that first half. Rather poor shooting performance, but in that third quarter he was a part of that South African kind of mini offensive surge they had, where they even managed to quiet the Senegalese crowd for about 30 seconds.
Well, it's all relative, wasn't it? It's slightly went down, but it was still pretty loud in here.
For sure.
And he makes both from the line, and South Africa just 4 points down.
South African vet getting it done. Still plays his ball in South Africa professionally.
Gianetto into the game for the first time. Drives in. Here he is. He's got all the space he could hope for and knocks it down straight in the game, and a 3-pointer for Ronaldo Gianetto.
Gianetto's got to feel good about that one. He was another one that had a bit of a rough go against Egypt in the second half, missing some open threes.
And Prinsloo making up for lost time with a triple of his own.
I'm okay with that. If you're going to have the big on the floor, have him out there making those shots. Just keep a hand in his face. Eventually, he's going to have to go down low. When he misses, he's not there for the rebound.
And the threes are flying in at either end.
Here we go. This is the kind of basketball we came to see. Both teams now starting to get in a rhythm. Defenses are going to have to make the adjustments here.
Dobe drives through and draws the foul. He'll go to the line for 2 shots. Here's another look back at Novella's triple in the corner. And then he just got tripped going to the basket there.
Yeah, if
South African captain.
If he hadn't gotten tripped there, that would have been an easy left-hand layup. Could have just switched hands over. So as frustrating as a foul as it might be for Mozambique, it actually was the right call as Matiba misses the first free throw.
He was a long way short on that one.
Get this. Mozambique now shot 0% in the first quarter. They're now shooting 60% from behind the three-point line overall.
Well, just the last few minutes. Here's another go for Novella. Not this time.
Not a bad decision, though. If you're wide open, take it.
Yeah, he just hit one in the opposite corner, so why not? into Prinsloo, and hands around the waist there.
Yep. You just have to time it a little bit more accurately there. If you're going to get that one-on-one, you have to. That's where the help defense has to make sure that it's there. You leave Prinsloo by himself as long as you possibly can, but as soon as you see that entry pass, someone's going to jump on him. No one needs to be wrapping their arms around him and causing unnecessary fouls.
Prinsloo backing down, kicks out. Ethobia short on the three. Can Prinsloo get it? No, he can't. In the end, it ends up in Magalitio's hands.
And if you want Prinsloo anywhere, you want him on the baseline there where he really kind of has nowhere else to go as he's backing down. Good defense.
Janetto feeds inside. Nice move as well from Shearer.
Great finish there. Excellent. Once again, we've said this earlier, Prinsloo, he doesn't need to leave his feet against such a small front court. You got to just keep a hand in the face and, if anything, get a little bit lower and make up for that lack of mobility laterally against some of these guys.
Good cut underneath, but no points in the end for Schleppe. That pass had a little too much zip on it and goes straight out of bounds for a possession to South Africa. There's the last play, just beating this man a bit too easy.
It was, and once again, but as a big guy, sometimes that's what you're going to kind of fall for when you're going up against a smaller lineup. You're hoping, oh, okay, I'm going to get like 4 or 5 blocks in this game, and what ends up happening is you end up being a little bit trigger happy with your feet.
Under all sorts of pressure, Tholo can't convert. Canavete moves it back. Oh, he's behind the board there on that shot. Magalito didn't quite have the angle on that. Receiver brings it forward for South Africa in an 8-point hole here, midway through the second quarter. Little step under, but the shot is no good for Ngobeni. Janetto up top. A little shake, drives into the lane, kicks it out in the corner. And, wow, no points for Canavete.
That's got to be frustrating. Rims in and out, had an open look. Everything was looking good there, ball movement-wise.
Prinsloo fakes the three, puts it on the floor to the little baby hook. Good move.
And that's it right there. Once again, you need to make sure that you're keeping Prinsloo out of that paint. The help defense needs to come over when he decides to put the ball on the floor like that.
Canavete, cross court, long three off the back of the ring from McLaurin. Top of the key, that one short as well from Shearer, and eventually, if you give a team enough chances, Canavete will go to the free throw line.
Canavete having a pretty solid game here for himself. He's got 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 points. You're seeing Prinsloo there, just the patience, the pump fake, waits for his initial defender to get above him.
Ngobeni bought the fake and committed the foul. A timeout has been called. It's 3:42 to go here in the first half, and South Africa lead Mozambique. Mozambique leads South Africa by 6 points.
Once again, this has been a very entertaining game. We knew this was going to be a close one, Dan. Both teams, as we've said before, they've had 11 meetings with each other, but it's been a while. There's been a bit of turnover in these rosters since the last time they faced off against each other, but it's really looking like Mozambique's energy has just been the main difference here. The great transition baskets. They're not forcing up tough shots like we saw against Egypt. They're making a point to try and get themselves not just to the line, but making that extra pass, and we're not seeing any more just one pass, try and dribble and shoot it up. We're seeing guys taking much more comfortable shots, more open shots, and I don't think South Africa was really expecting this kind of energy from Mozambique so far.
Well, 2 teams making their way back out onto court. Peter Prinsloo leading the South Africans out of their timeout. And ready at the free throw line is David Canavete.
It's not going to get any easier for Prinsloo either now that Ubisi is back on the floor. plays about 3 or 4 inches above his height. As does Canaverti even, despite being listed as a 3 on this team. He's had quite a few rebounds so far.
They want a goaltend on that. The referees are just going to check. I don't think they're going to give it, are they? No, it's just a foul. Be interesting. It's just the question of whether the ball had hit the ring or whether it was, sorry, it hit the backboard or whether it was pushed into the backboard. But it's going to be 2 free throws for Tholo.
From this angle, it kind of looked like the ball had already touched the backboard before. Maybe not.
And the first one is no good. Well, he misses them both. They haven't had too many free throws in the game, South Africa, so you can't afford to let them go away when you do get them. Makaringe moves it across to Ginato. Ginato back to him. Makaringe fires up for 3. And Matiba pulls in the rebound. Nowhere to go for Ngatangi, but they get it round to Selepe, can't make the 3. Neto looking to push and now waiting for the trail. Well, that was slightly out of control there from Canavete that time.
Canavete's got to make sure that he puts his head up a little bit sooner, know where he is on the floor. Great finish there, though.
Dola taking it right down the lane.
Yep.
Lays it in, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line for the bonus.
Tolo's got the fresh legs here on this floor. Excellent finish there. We're just saying about Canaverti very quickly. It just looked like when he finally looked back up again, he didn't realize where he was on the floor and realized he kind of overstepped himself and gave himself a tough shot. Here's Tolo making the most of that 3-point play. He was another one that was doing very well against Senegal in that third quarter, knocked down a couple of threes and some quick layups. If you give him space, he will work with it.
Well, they've cut it back to 3 here, South Africa, with 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. And they're trying to re-establish that 6-point lead via the long-range shot from Shimonzo, but it doesn't go.
Shimonzo's got to work the ball around the perimeter there, try and find himself a better shot.
Prinsloo to tie it, doesn't go. Shimonzo is first to the rebound.
Once again, you got to kind of live and die with that, because if he's taking that 3 out there, that means he's not under the basket for the rebound. Just put a hand up and let him shoot it.
Martin. Cross court to Makarenge. Visse under all sorts of pressure draws the contact.
Makarenge, he's got to recognize where, sorry, that was Visse that went up for the shot.
Yeah.
He's got to recognize, of course you understand he is the almost kind of the big man on campus, one of the leaders of this team, but he's got to recognize where his guard was, exactly sitting in the corner, a wide open look. Instead he opts to try and drive inside on 2 shirts consecutively. Now mind you, he does get to the line for the 2 shots, but if I was him, I actually wouldn't have a problem kicking it out to his guard to get another wide open look, because we've seen that whenever the Mozambique guards have an opportunity to actually get themselves set and face the basket, square up and let it go, they've been knocking them down in this quarter.
Well, he gets 2 points for his team all the same, and there's less than 2 to play here. In the first half, a 5-point Mozambique lead.
And that's the beauty of basketball. There's more than one way to score.
Indeed. Tola going to work, and followed by Vanderbilt, but he couldn't tip it in.
I feel like Vanderbilt's walked under a ladder before coming into this tournament. He just has not gotten a break in these last 2 games.
One's driving the baseline. In the corner is Novella for 3. Doesn't quite go. Good offensive rebound by Obitsi. Novella kicks it out, and this time Shimonza tries from behind the arc. South Africa come down with it through Selepe.
Once again, you can't say anything about that. You have to just knock down those shots. They did everything right except score.
Ngatanga's shot doesn't go. Ball is bobbling about, but eventually ends up in the hands of Martins, but they've turned it over. Have they got it back? It's a bit scrappy, but Ubisi comes up with it.
The 7 years of bad luck for Vanderbilt continues.
Monza. Cross court to Martins. Martins drives down the lane. It's batted away. And 30 seconds to go. Vanderbilt is out in front. He gets pinned. What a block. Great recovery there from Shearer to pin him to the backboard.
He's got to make those. One thing that Vanderbilt has kind of been showing us is every time he goes up to the rim, he kind of slows down a little bit, gives his defender a chance to catch up, and time and again, he's got to learn from that situation there. Maybe see the game.
Schmoza has to see the shot clock here. He's got to go. He did go. That's not the game clock. That's the shot clock. Keep playing. Oh, they got confused. They heard the buzzer. Oh, it nearly went from Shalepe. They heard the shot clock buzzer and thought it was the game clock buzzer there, Mozambique, and they stopped playing. But there was still a few seconds left. Shalepe was wise with it. There's the pin. What about that for a block? Let's have another look. Boom. It just went like the lights have been turned out there on Vanderbilt as he gets pinned to the board. We're at the half. It's 29 South Africa, 34 Mozambique. Well, it's been a very entertaining opening 20 minutes here on day 2 of FIBA AfroBasket 2017 in Dakar, Senegal. We're going to take a little break as the players do too, and we'll be back with you in about 13 minutes time.
Chor. Mr. Chor. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mr. Chor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Chor. Apa itu? Kami menghadap. Kami asisten di balik. Chor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm having a laugh about it. Oh, that hurt.
Closing in on the start of the third quarter here in Dakar, where South Africa are taking on Mozambique, and Mozambique currently in the lead by 34 points to 29. This is in Group D. Both these teams got off to a losing start here in AfroBasket 2017, so looking to get on the board. And it's South Africa, and you can see Peter Prinsloo there in the center of your screen, who make their way back out onto court. And interestingly, the two big guys, he and Gabriel, go straight to the referees and smiles and jokes, and you can tell Gabriel's still talking about the unsportsmanlike foul he was called for. But I'm pretty sure that 25 minutes after the referee called it, he's not going to change his mind.
I think more at this point as well, it's about the future relationship, just showing them that, hey, we have respect for you guys, and I'm just trying to show you my side. So if a similar situation happens, maybe more favorable outcome can happen this year. Diego gets the ball right away and makes no hesitations whatsoever right to the basket. And that's something South Africa is going to need to consistently be doing, Dan, the whole way through. And there's a steal, too.
Well, Gabriel, really, when he's been on court, has been very effective. Prinsloo fires up for three, but he just hasn't been on court enough. That's the problem. The foul trouble has been his issue. But Mozambique have started very lax here in the first minute.
Prinsloo there, though, I'm not going to lie, I can see the coach showing his frustration with Prinsloo for taking that three, telling him you had a wide open lane to the basket and they have not been able to stop you yet. You have to recognize the defense's weaknesses.
Yeah, no, with tough pass, and it doesn't go for Ubisi.
One thing for sure that we can agree on, I think, is that Mozambique has been the superior passing team. They've just been finding all sorts of lanes and cuts to the basket, and it's a big reason why they're up by three right now.
Prinsloo, this time he does put it on the floor and takes it to the basket, but can't convert. Canavetti out in front, but he couldn't ever quite get control of the ball, so he sends it back to Shimonza and they'll restart.
Prinsloo on that move there, he has to know if he has a little bit extra space, just take that little extra dribble and use your body.
Magalizio baited into shooting the three, takes the bait, but gets the rebound, and now Shimonza will fire from behind the arc. That doesn't go, and Mutiba gets the rebound, and Canavetti was slow to his feet, but now he's recovered. Inside to Prinsloo. Look at the height difference he has in there, but he can't make it pay, and Magalizio grabs the rebound.
Absolutely perfect defense for Mozambique there. The red shirts came over, but the South African teammates there, they're going to have to make a cut to the basket, give him an option outside of just scoring.
Canavetti hits the three.
Excellent shot there. And although Mozambique, not exactly, the three-point shot isn't exactly what got them up in the first place, but they've decided that they're going to keep shooting it.
lobbed in, and there is another offensive foul, and that won't improve his mood anymore. Gabriel is going to go sit down, and he's livid. And he's got to be careful not to get a technical here.
See just a quick replay of that three-pointer by Canaverzi, just finding some open space, and without a doubt, he's been the MVP of this game for Mozambique.
Here is Canavetti on possession. He hands it over to Shimonzo. Canavetti drives down the lane, finishes well, draws the foul, and go to the line for a bonus.
And that's it, Canaverti. Don't fix what isn't broken. He's been able to get to the rim at will throughout this game. Just another example. Look at how the space just opens up. The defender actually just gets out of the way. I believe that's FIBA.
And Shearer was the one who came across late and committed the foul. Can't convert the three-point play. Prinsloo with the rebound. Oh, good hands to knock that loose from Shimonzo, but there was a pushing foul in there somewhere.
That's got to be a...
Magalito is the offender. It's only his first foul. I mean, just nudges Prinsloo out of the way. Prinsloo, by the way, from the halfway line ended up on the advertising boards at the end. So it must have been some push.
He doesn't know his own strength.
Tholo trying to find some space, eventually kicks it back out. Matiba step back three off the back of the ring.
That's a veteran move right there.
And I think they're Tholo thought the pass was going long and ended up jumping on top of him, and the foul was called.
You see Matiba, nice little move there to kind of get the defender off, and then had the wherewithal to get the step back behind the three. Just has to knock that down though for Mozambique to take advantage.
Shimonzo zips one inside.
Not a bad shot. I mean, the defense was closing in. You only had so much time left.
Prinsloo just bobbled it. And a little reaching foul there from Shimonzo. And there's a few words exchanged. And Prinsloo gets in between them. And Canavetti comes over, check what's going on as well.
Prinsloo, the cooler of heads in that exchange there. Always surprising to see when you have a guy that has to play so physically. But time and again, though, even in that Senegalese game, he was the guy that was getting in between guys trying to break things up.
Just lobbed into Prinsloo. And, oh, he's missed the lay-in. And the quick outlet finds Canavetti on the break, and he stretches the lead to double figures now for Mozambique.
One thing, if you're Prinsloo on that, and you're standing 6'10", at some point you got to make a decision that you want to go up there and just throw it down with a little bit of authority. There's no reason you can't just go up and dunk that. Sometimes just going off the bat, that's a 100% shot every time.
Matiba from behind the arc. There is Prinsloo flying through the air, trying to tip it in. He couldn't get it to go, but he did keep it alive, and Tholo was there for the third chance opportunity. He was fouled, and he'll shoot two.
Looks like South Africa's going to go small again. And to its credit, though, they were able to claw into Mozambique's lead the last time around. They sized down with them.
Well, it was by necessity as much as anything else, but yeah, they did cut the gap back.
Just one thing you want to stop seeing, though, from South Africa is when you see those drives by Vissi and Canaverzi and others, not to step away and be worried about getting the foul call. Sometimes just get in front of them and put your hands up and take the charge. If anything, you know they're going to go to the basket.
Sherman's are under all sorts of pressure. Gets it across the halfway line. He goes all the way to the basket for another two, and it's back to 10.
There it is again. South African defenders literally gave him a path. They actually let him walk by them with their hands up. All you have to do is just stand right in front of him, put your hands up, and take the charge.
Tholo drives in, kicks out. Good spot in the corner, but the three-point shot isn't good for Shalepe. So Matiba thought about trying one. Instead, he went inside. They still have possession of the ball, South Africa. And Ngatanga lays it in.
And that was a fantastic ball placement there by Salepi, just putting it on the right hand, recognizing that defenders on the opposite end. It just makes it all that much easier for Ngenta to get it for an easy bucket.
Kanavati's shot is no good. South Africa come back the other way. Tholo bounces it inside to Ngobeni, goes strong to the basket, but is unable to finish.
It's been a running theme for South Africa in this game, just an inability to finish under the rim despite the smaller defenders. But if you take a look at this Mozambique team, if you ever get a chance to actually see them up close, every single one of these guys, they look like they've been sculpted out of marble. These are very strong, athletic players. And sometimes the height, despite the height, they're still going to be incredibly hard to move around in the paint. And that's never more apparent than in this game. Despite the size advantage that South Africa has, they're just not moving guys around the way that they hoped they would have.
Timeout called, and Mozambique lead by 8.
One thing I'm liking, though, from Mozambique, they're finding ways to get to the rim.
Well, the big news of the day in FIBA EuroBasket is the Germans' victory over France in a tight one there, knocking out the French. The French haven't been that great through EuroBasket, but it's still so surprising to see them out at the round of 16.
You have a point guard like Schroeder, now an NBA veteran, leading that team. You're always going to give yourself an opportunity to win.
Nice as well, on fire for the French, but here we are at AfroBasket, and a chance for Mozambique to try and get double figure. Oh, blocked from behind. No, it's a foul.
Excellent ball movement from Mozambique.
Magalito, it was underneath. Now let's have another look. Oh yeah, gets him right across the arm there, Shalepe. First look live, you think, oh, that looks close, that one, but on replay.
It looked like he got all arm and no ball.
Yeah, it did. Well, he saved his team at least a point, because it would have been 2, and the best it can be is 1.
Magalico, one of the veteran leaders on this team.
Tholo crosses the halfway line, directing traffic, and Shalepe fires up for 3, but it's short, and it's a very simple rebound for Shearer. Again, good ball movement from Mozambique. Gimonzo, nice. Shearer there in the paint, no good.
One thing we've been noticing, Dan, a lot of those shots have been a bit short. Teammates got to start recognizing that, get a little bit more comfortable. If you're going to take that shot, take it with confidence.
Lepe puts it on the floor, drives out, kicks out to Tholo for 3 off the back of the ring. Long rebound is chased down by Magalito.
And oddly enough, a lot of the shots we've been seeing from behind the arc have been long.
Well, you can just find a happy medium somewhere in between. That's a bit of a lazy foul, or a tired foul maybe.
Well, the humidity in this arena definitely is going to take its toll in this second half. You can see as Mozambique head coach here is got a little bit of a sweat going on himself, trying to direct traffic. To see the intensity of this game.
And of course, in tournament play, playing back-to-back, 3 days in a row. You've got to look after your body right. It's as much about what you do after the game as what you do in the game to get ready for the next day. Good tip out from Shearer, and another chance for Mozambique. He gets it down on the low block, but loses the ball out of bounds. I think they're going to swap the ball. They are. They've just changed balls.
Maybe a little bit too much moisture, or?
Yeah, I can only assume that.
Now watch this. Now both teams will make every shot.
Well, let's hope so.
It's the ball's fault.
Maybe not. Here's Prinsloo. Can't give her batted out. Oh, spectacular, but unfortunately for Schleppe, it didn't find a teammate, and Prinsloo does enough to put off the shot.
Excellent job there. I'm happy the refs didn't call anything on that. Very clean, athletic move.
Oh, Schleppe, I think, surprised everybody by passing the ball there, but a foul called in the end. So another look. Somehow he's the presence to actually be able to keep the ball in bounds. Unfortunately, it was to his opponent. Prinsloo going to the hook.
There it is, that confidence. He knew exactly as soon as he got the ball. One power dribble, nothing fancy, nothing smooth about it. Just bully his way to the net. We got to see more of that from Prinsloo. For South Africa to win this one.
A lot of space there for Shamonza. His three-point shot doesn't go, and the ball beats Canabetti to the line.
It's just one of those things, though. You can see the mental game here having a bit of a factor. Sitoli electing to kind of just let that ball go, but if you're going to let it go, give yourself a little bit more space than that, because if Canabetti had the wherewithal and the presence of mind to grab that ball, just throw it off of him, that would have been a turnover.
Morinelli checks into the game, I think for the first time here, and he Tholo shoots right over him for three.
Tholo, don't look now, leading South Africa with 13 points on 18, just under 19 minutes, excuse me. And he's really been the only guy we've seen on this floor that's been able to just kind of spot up off the dribble, get himself square to the basket, and knock it down.
Well, that makes it a 4-point game, and a steal there from Schleppe. Down to Vanderbilt, who didn't have the best of fortune in the first half, but he draws a foul here from Inelethio Shearer. There's going to be a timeout here. Mozambique are going to call it, and with 1:42 to go here in the third quarter, South Africa going to the line for 2 free throws that could make it a one-shot possession. They've really clawed themselves back in it in the last few minutes.
They absolutely have, and a lot of that has to do with the fact of going back to their game, which is making sure they're working the inside out consistently. But also more importantly than that is even just making sure that they're not allowing Mozambique to get off and running on those transition baskets. A couple of times here we've seen in the last couple minutes, anytime that Mozambique is trying to look for that long pass to go in for a quick layup, South Africa is now starting to take a few more chances and realizing, hey, they're not going to stop doing this. We have to make sure that we're intercepting these lanes and not just letting them run all over up and down the floor. We can't allow them to get as comfortable as they are with finishing at the rim. And even if that means taking a couple extra fouls here and there, it's at least going to make Mozambique think twice and force them to shoot threes, which at this point, they're actually not shooting very well at all, shooting only 25%. And I guarantee you that percentage is even lower in this second half specifically.
Well, two teams making their way back out onto court. We got 2 free throws to come for Jonathan Vanderbilt, the 25-year-old who plays the goalie Magic. as a number of them do, and he makes the first.
That's one thing you'll see with a lot of these mid-tier African teams is about half the rosters on the same professional club domestically, so a lot of familiarity amongst these guys, which can always be a positive for a coaching staff.
Well, he doesn't make the second, and the rebound is pulled down by Magalito, and you just get the feeling that Mozambique need a score here just to steady the ship. A 3 would be nice. That's only worth 2 because it towed the line, but it's worth none because it didn't go in, and South Africa have chance to run. And look at the speed of Tolo, but it's blocked. Super block on the way up. Nothing wrong with that. Canavete's out on the break, and what looked like 2 points at one end is 2 points at the other.
Unbelievable defense. Mozambique, and you can tell they understand the severity of this situation right now around them. They do not want to let this one go.
Schleppe from long range.
That is not a good shot.
Well, that's one of those. It's only a good shot if it goes in. Other than that, look at this. Lolo's getting there. That's definitely still on the way up, and it's just batted away by Sheeran down the other end.
We've talked about it time and again, the ability Mozambique has to run up and down the floor. And that is about as good as it gets when it comes to their game.
Magalito, cross court, finds its way inside to Shearer now. Everybody getting a touch of the ball. Magalito fires up for 3. It's too long, and that's a push in the back from David Canavete.
Despite the fact that they missed the shot, you can see this team is clearly woken up after that play. Everyone's getting a touch, as you said. They're getting an open look more or less. But once again, the same problem they had with Egypt. When they're getting these good looks, they have to finish the job. Otherwise, it's just pretty looking basketball.
14 on the shot clock, 20 on the game clock. On the bilge as we tick down the third. Finally gets a bucket to go. 10 seconds now to go. They got to go quick. They ain't got time to back out. Need to shoot here. Oh, they ran out of time. I'm not quite sure what Novella was thinking. He seemed to pull it out to slow it down. There wasn't enough time for that, but a good response from South Africa in the last couple of minutes of the third quarter. The gap is down to only 3. It's South Africa 43, Mozambique 46.
South Africa did a fantastic job very quickly, just dominating the paint when the bigs were on the floor and running in transition when their smaller lineup was out there.
Well, this is going to be the interesting dilemma for Coach Craig Gilchrist down the stretch, because actually a lot of the good work his team have done has come when Gabriel and Prinsloo have been on the bench, forced to the bench by the foul issues they've had. But when those two are on court, they look like they have the ability to dominate. We've seen in glimpses they have the ability to dominate, and it makes sense that those two big guys should be able to have their way inside. So how do you play these last 10 minutes in terms of how much playing time you go to those two? Well, 10 minutes left in game 1, day 2, FIBA AfroBasket 2017. South Africa and Mozambique battling it out hard for the victory. Only one of them can get it, but which one will take the bragging rights and give themselves a shot still of getting on the plane to Tunisia next week?
I think if you're South Africa right now on defense, allow Mozambique to get that outside shot. Whatever you do, get that help defense, even if it means getting a little bit of dirt on your shoulders in the paint. You're going to have to do it. Live with that shot.
Makaringe starts the quarter off with 3. And the referee stop, says there needs to be a substitution. Not quite sure why. I think it's the, let's have another look at the shot first.
And just as I said it, let them have the shot. Of course, Mozambique steps up and knocks it down.
I think Fabo Sitoli had his undershorts coming down below the knee, and the referee says you can't do that, so you're going to have to go off and take them off. I think that's what it is. Vanderbilt's just falling over. Somehow, well, no, he doesn't keep control of the ball. Magalito driving through, just losing it out of bounds, and it'll be a South Africa possession.
Let's see, is that it looks like it just, two players got tangled up, no foul. Went straight for the ball. Excellent defensive play, though, as we take a look here.
I guess it's one of them where it's deep enough in the circle, it can be a no foul, because it can't be a charge. And just to update you, Thabo Sitoli has gone off to the locker room, so I assume he is taking his undershorts off. Magalito backing down. And nice shot at the elbow. He was confident in that.
And
Ubisi.
Yep. And Mozambique, they've been taking that shot multiple times during this game. Now here we are in the fourth quarter. It just seems like teams that they've started to get a little bit more comfortable with that.
Well, that pass a little too far out of reach for Vanderbilt. Just where he turned it over on the previous play. And Ubisi shoots over him. He's had a rough old day, hasn't he?
Did earn a bucket or two, though.
Yeah, he's played hard, but it's just not really been his afternoon so far. Here's Ubisi looking to go to work on Gabriel, who of course can't do too much defensively because he's on 4 fouls. And Schlepper has it knocked away. Ball is up in the air. And whoop, just for a second there, it looked like Novella was going over the advertising boards into the South African bench, but he managed to stop himself.
I hope what Gabriel, though, realizes there after that exchange that he doesn't have to do too much. He just has to make sure that he's between the ball and the basket on defense, and he's going to give himself a chance to disrupt a lot of shots.
Okay, driving in, can't convert.
That's a tough one.
Oh,
there.
good save from Novella behind the back. In the corner. No, not this time for Makarenge. Gabriel trying to catch it one-handed, ends up on his backside.
There's a miss, though.
He's not got back. Now, I thought they were going to throw it long for a second, but they don't bother.
That's one thing, though, if you're Mozambique, you have to recognize that. If you're down a defender, you don't have to rush the shot. Although that is kind of their style of play.
Yeah.
In this quarter, they've been very good in the half-court offense. And there's
Prinsloo again. We've seen that shot a number of times, haven't we? Fakes the three, puts it on the floor, and floats it up. Good for 2. 2.5 minutes. We are into this fourth quarter. And it's South Africa 45, Mozambique 50.
Just seeing one thing here, though. Prinsloo once again taking full advantage of the space that's been given to him, attacking the basket. We're not seeing him put up any more unnecessary threes. He's going with what's working for him. And as well, another X factor that we talked about before this game began was Gabriel. And as Ubisi, easily, well, most likely the most athletic big man they have, a spin move all the way around, and Gabriel, without even having to leave his feet, was still right in front of him, forcing a tough shot to go up. So we're hoping that the South African bigs may have learned from their earlier mistakes when they were leaving their feet too many times, and realize that all they really have to do more than anything is just stick to being big. They don't necessarily have to do anything flashy. And it's becoming more and more clear that South Africa, the way that they're going to win this game is by winning it ugly, being physical on defense, forcing Mozambique to stay away from the fast break runs, But at the same time, Mozambique is now just starting to heat up from the perimeter, knocking down a couple of mid and long-range jump shots. So even though South Africa wants them to shoot out there, they're still going to have to make sure they're putting a hand in their face every single time.
Well, Gabriel stands at 2 meters 14, 7 foot in old money. So he's got literally 5 or 6 inches or 13, 15 centimeters on everybody else. Well, he had it. He's now fouled out of the game.
And he left his feet. Once again, he left his feet. He has to just stand still, be tall, and take the contact. If we take a look here, look, just leaves his feet.
Well, his arms are forward as well.
Yep.
So he's fouled out of the game. What's he played, Gabriel? 15 minutes.
A very disappointing outing for him, no doubt. 3 points. His plus-minus difference is -10.
Yeah. He's just, it's not been his day, has it? He's got very frustrated. And, well, dust yourself off, come back tomorrow and hope things go a bit more your way. I don't think it's the end of the world for as good a player as he is, and he plies his trade in Europe these days. It's just moving back to Denmark after a season away in Georgia, but I think they're going to, there was somebody in too early there. I don't think it's the end of the world for South Africa because they played so much of this game without him. Yeah. And they've actually, as you say, his plus-minus is -10, and they're only down 5. So they actually have done better with him on the court, off the court than on it, which sounds counterintuitive. But the way the game has gone, a slightly smaller lineup might help them.
The guards have stepped up, and so has Prinsloo, and he's going to need to do it even more now as you see the defense crowd around him. And that's what you want to do with him, though. You want to force him out to the baseline. He's not as consistent there as he is when he's facing right in front of the basket.
Matiba's 3 doesn't go. Great work there from Thaba Sitoli just to tip it loose, and Prinsloo pounced on the ball and laid it in. It's down to 3.
Excellent work there. That's just some team hustle. Keeping the ball alive, allowing your big man to get the position to clean it up.
Mortans cuts through the lane, but Magalito goes to Abissi at the elbow. Hit one there earlier, hits one there again.
At this point, go back to it. He needs to make sure that he's finding cuts to the elbow now consistently, because if South Africa isn't going to stop him from reaching his heat zone, if you will, then that might be able to put him away.
Prinsloo puts the ball on the floor now, looking to back down. The double team comes. He manages to keep possession of the ball. He's under all sorts of pressure. He gets it out to Sitoli for 3. Not quite, but there's the captain with the rebound and the putback.
What a putback that was. And once again, that's the downside of Mozambique. And we saw this a number of times against Egypt, where everybody's going for the ball, but nobody's boxing out. Everyone's just watching. Or even more importantly, when the shot goes up, you have all these 3 red shirts waiting for it to come down, assuming it's going to be an easy rebound. But because nobody's boxing out, Matiba recognizes that. And of course, him being the veteran that he is, he's going to take advantage of that every single time. As you take a look at the replay here, look at that. You got 2 red shirts there. No one's boxing out. Everyone's already up in the air. Matiba's walking back, shaking his head, shaking his hands, going, you got to think better than that if you're going to go up against me.
Okay. The teams, I thought a timeout had been called. The teams have been sent back to the benches, I think, because the scoreboard has gone off in the building, unfortunately, at both ends. So we can tell you that it's 15:03 local time, but we can't tell you much else. So once they get that fixed, the 2 teams will go in to the huddle. And it's just come back on now. 5:42 to go, 49-52 it reads. And the referees go, come on now, it's not a real timeout, let's get back out there.
And we're right back to it. Unfortunately, maybe the torrential rains from yesterday are still wreaking havoc on some of the electricals. But a very, very entertaining game to kick off day 2 here in this Group D action.
And still plenty of it left to go. Big shot for 3 is no good, and that came off the hand of Novella, I think it was. So South Africa get it back and a chance to potentially tie the game, or certainly cut it to 1. They go for the tie through Tholo, and it was a long way off the mark.
Tholo, keep in mind though, he's had some very big shots for South Africa in this game. If anyone was going to make that 3, it was going to be him, but he missed that one pretty badly, unfortunately, for the South Africans.
Novella back to Shimonzo. And there's a 3 there at the other end for Makarenge, and it doubles the Mozambique lead.
Makarenge, that's just his second made shot.
Foul called again on the attack of the basket. Makarenge having just hit the shot, and it's whistled for a blocking foul.
It's got to be great to see that, especially for his teammates when they see. Let's take a replay here on the foul. Picks up the foul right after that, though. And I think Mozambique will take it if it means they have a 6-point lead right now. They'll go down to 4 at the worst.
Baba Sitoli, he had to take his undershorts off earlier. He's just been told to tuck his shirt in as well.
The ref's not giving him any breaks.
Well, he's got to be presentable.
I think he looks pretty good.
He does now that he's taken his shorts off and he's got his shirt tucked in. That's more like it.
Is that why he's now making his free
yeah,
throws?
that's why the free throws are going in too. See? It's no secret to it all.
Dress good, feel good.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get that pass inside quicker.
Oh, Bissi had a little bit of time, but here's Makarenge again for 3.
What
He's hit 2 in quick succession.
Makarenge, with the biggest man on the floor in front of him, just creates just enough space. Knocks it down.
Ooh, almost stolen away, but Prinsloo lets fly, doesn't go. And easy rebound for Magalito, and he's in no rush here because the clock is on their side with just over 4 minutes to go and a 7-point lead.
Prinsloo, I'm sure he wanted to take that shot as a little I'll show you, but once again, that's the mental part of this game. You can't go away from what's working for you. He hasn't made a single one of those threes. He's got to put the ball on the floor.
Magalito now overcooked it, but Bissi's there with the rebound, but it was a shot clock violation because the ball didn't hit the ring. It didn't reset, and therefore Ubisi didn't get the shot off in time.
There we go. So we're taking a look at Prinsloo and Ubisi. That's been a battle all afternoon. Those are 2 really big guys. And they're actually not that far away from each other in height either.
Dolo drives in. Oh, great steal. And away comes Makarenge. Can they catch him? No, they can't. Oh, but he's missed the lay-in.
Just enough defense, just enough footsteps. Makarenge hesitated.
That's not a great shot, but it is a good rebound from Selepe.
Selepe bailing out his teammate there.
And the foul, I think, is on Novella.
Ngojana, they're taking that shot. And one thing you notice, though, if you see his head, when he let go of that shot here on this replay, he didn't have his eyes on the basket.
Sitoli chased that one in, got his own rebound, got fouled. And it just rimmed out for him, so he'll have to go to the line for 2.
Tolo's been the best offensive player for South Africa in this game. Even though Prinsloo has more points, you just look at the ways in which Tolo's been either getting himself to the line. I mean, look at just the hesitation to sit and wait for the defender to come back down with you to put it up over him. Between doing that and between hitting jump shots off the dribble, corner threes, he's been their most dangerous offensive weapon in this game. At 13 points as well, he's a big factor in why South Africa still has a chance here to pull off a comeback.
Can he get his 14th now? Here's Chimonza. Oh, nice. Ubisi inside, lays it in for two, but a great pass in the first place from Novella.
You see the importance of drawing the defense over to you, and that was a picture-perfect pass inside to Ubisi. Ubisi with his hands ready knew exactly what they were trying to do.
Now, for three is good for Ngatana.
And Ngatana making up for that earlier miss. They ran the exact same play.
Less than 3 to play, 4-point game. Here's Ubisi taking it in, getting the friendly bounce. Whoa! And Prinsloo falls over his own player.
Prinsloo still on the ground.
I think he's just getting his breath.
Yep, Ubisi, look at this. Just goes right up over the big man. Excellent touch at the rim, and that's something we have been seeing a lot here in these fourth quarters is teams have taken enough shots. They've kind of gotten an idea and the depth perception of the rim. And now we're starting to see more consistent offense hitting on all sides for both teams.
Six points between them with 2:20 to play. There's only 6 here on the shot clock for Prinsloo. He needs to do something quick. The long-range three. Wow, where did that come from? From nowhere. Schleppy hits it from miles out.
Schleppy, what a shot that was. Look at this. You don't really get to see how close the hand, there it is, the hand right in his face. And that was Makarenge who was right there.
Trying to go quick at the other end is Novella, and he was caught the defense on the heels, drew the foul.
Dan, one thing we're noticing right now is both defenses are starting to take just a few more chances, not allowing any easy buckets.
Novella to inbound. Canavete trying to go to work. Canavete takes the shot, and much to the ire of the South African bench.
We haven't seen a lot from Canavete in the last couple of minutes. Seems like he was just catching his breath for that move. Gets himself to the line.
Two important shots here for David Canavete.
4 of 10 from the field. 9 points overall. 4 assists, 6 rebounds. And in a low-scoring game like this, that is a pretty big stat line.
Well, we're inside the final 2. There's 4 points between the sides. Can South Africa somehow snatch it at the death? Mozambique have led for much of this game. Prinsloo for 3. Overcooked it, but the ball is loose, and there's a little grab in there from Neo Manitoba.
You can see the humidity starting to have a bit of effect on the bigger players like Prinsloo. If this was the second quarter, Prinsloo's taking 2 dribbles and going to the basket. But you can tell just the constant moving up and down in this arena, starting to feel like if I get set and I get settled, like maybe I can start knocking down some of these threes. He's 0 for 4 from the three-point line now at this point.
Shamonza misses the first, though.
And then once again, how many times did we see this against Egypt? Mozambique just not able to convert from the free throw line. So when the time came for Egypt to make their run, they really had no response for it.
Yeah, he's missed them both there. And South Africa can make it a one-shot game here. Tholo backs out. And you can see they're trying to get it inside, but Tholo takes it himself to the reverse lane. It's a 2-point game.
What a finish there. Tholo once again showing yet another tool in the arsenal.
Novella has the bigger Prinsloo in front of him. Kicks it out. Novella lots of space for 3. Big shot doesn't go. And South Africa can tie the game here with 55 seconds to go.
He's going to take this.
Travel with it.
And he would have taken it if he didn't slip there. He was trying to go for a crossover. If you take a look at the replay, if there is one here, look. We're seeing that one earlier there. That was just a great finish, recognizing that he was wide open once he got past those two red shirts. Just nice and calm and collected. One more step up and under. Just the right amount of spin on the ball. Very pretty layup through the traffic.
So there are 48.3 seconds to go. South Africa trail Mozambique by 2. And Mozambique have the ball. So the important thing for South Africa here is to play some good defense. The worst they can do here would be give up a 20-second score. They need to make sure that they keep Mozambique out, but they got to play good defense. And if they get a steal, that's a bonus. But they've got to be aware of the clock as well.
And that's going to be even more difficult when you consider the fact that if you looked at South Africa and how they've been playing in the paint in the last 4 minutes, it's been going for it, going up, trying to get blocks, leaving their feet, trying to stay as physical as possible, not allowing Mozambique to just walk in and score as they had through the first 3 quarters of this game. And to try and change that mentality in the final minutes to now be more about, okay, just stay big, stay high, don't try and leave your feet unnecessarily. That's a tough adjustment if you're in the thick of it.
Here we go then. Novella getting ready to inbound. He's got to get it in. He's got to get it in. Whew, he took about 4.5 seconds there before making that pass in, but he
Great
did.
defense.
Machave trying to go. Kicks out to Abissi, but the pass is a little too far in front. Perfect result for South Africa. They get the stop, they get the ball back, and they don't lose too much time in the process.
That was just a bad pass. You can't afford to make those kind of passes this late in the game. There wasn't even really anyone there. He actually put it more closer to the South African player than he did to Abissi.
Schleppe has it tipped away by Novella. It will be a South Africa possession. I think they were trying to go offense for defense. Substitution. But then they didn't want to make that sub because they hadn't got the ball back. But it doesn't matter actually because South Africa have instead called a timeout. There are 26 seconds remaining on the clock, but they can only use 12 of them. So Coach Gilchrist has got to draw up a play to get his team on the board, and then they have to play some defense for about 14 seconds or so, maybe a bit more.
And if you're South Africa right now, I think one of your best options, if you're going to take a 3, just make sure it's not Prinsloo, not because he's having a cold day, more specifically because of the fact that, you know, if you need your biggest guy on the floor under the basket. South Africa has shown that they're capable of knocking down those 3s. It's the reason they're still in this game right now and have a chance to win it, especially with Tolo out there and Ngojana. And when you have those kind of shooters available, take those shots if you're wide open, but really try and work the inside out and see if you can find something at the rim first. If I'm the South African coach right now, I want the ball in Tholo's hands. He's been the only one that's shown he can do a little bit of everything given the situation.
Well, it's in his hands, but it's in his hands for the purpose of the inbound. They've got to get it in here. And that's not a very smart foul there. Matiba was in the low post, and he had the size advantage, but I guess it doesn't matter because he's not over the limit.
And Machave has to recognize there that Matiba, as great of a player as he is, he's not exactly that comfortable in the post to just hit a turnaround jumper.
Nice head fake to put South Africa in the lead. Schleppe hits the side of the board, rip it down, ball is loose, they're all on it. Well, it's like a scrum in rugby there. And it'll be a held ball, and the possession arrow is pointing the way of South Africa. So they get the ball on the end line.
That's about the best, as open of a shot as you could ask for, but a bad miss. Luckily, South Africa, just enough hustle to give themselves second life, or else that could have been the game.
Well, they still only have 8 seconds on the shot clock. There's 18 on the game clock.
I wouldn't be surprised if they try and go for another one.
Matiba under pressure. Matiba to Tholo. Down to 2. He's got to shoot. Tholo finger rolls it up, it doesn't hit the ring. It doesn't matter, the ball is loose, and they can run the clock here. Don't go for the score, run the clock. Oh, they've laid it in. They've laid it in. They've kind of given South Africa a chance there. I mean, take the 2, they need 4 points. But if you run out to the corner, you're not going to get fouled, and time expires, you win the game. It's easy for me to stay up here, but
You're right, though.
yeah.
That's exactly what they should have done. Mozambique, but you know what? This is something we've seen time and again, though, Dan, during this tournament in the first 2 days. It's just a lack of clock awareness. Everyone's so focused on the game at hand. No one's realizing just how much time is left, whether it's a quarter, a half, or the game.
Here's the thing.
Clocks.
Here's the thing. If you're Mozambique, don't foul. This is all you can do now is don't foul. If they score, there's going to be a second left. You'll just have to inbound the ball. Don't foul. That's
easier said than done.
That's it. But exactly, because what they're going to do is they're going to get excited. They're going to challenge. Particularly, don't foul a three-point shot.
No.
But try not to foul anything. Don't give them an open pass under the basket. But if they're going to take a 3, let them take a 3. But preferably try and force them to put the ball on the floor. But don't foul. Whatever you do.
What are they not supposed to do?
Foul. Just checking you're listening. Tholo to inbound. Matiba's trying to get free. Can't get free. Lepe does. He stepped out of bounds.
Unless there's a steal and basket of unbelievable proportions. Mozambique. And once again, this is another close one.
There it is. You can see it. Just had his heel on the line.
Yep.
They're going to give it to him. It's from the side where he stepped down. I'm not quite sure why Novella was on the end line. Well, I'd throw it down court. Just throw it down court and let somebody try and touch it. It doesn't matter if you turn it over. Don't throw it under your own bound. That's exactly what they do. There you go. Now he dunked that one in, and on the buzzer laid in for 2. Great play. Ubisi was there. He broke out. Nobody could keep up with him. And a fantastic victory for Mozambique, and what a perfect way to finish it off.
And once again, South Africa giving them a scare and what is surely a very frustrating game for them. But Mozambique literally did everything they possibly could have done towards their game plan to put the South Africans away.
It's finished here in Dakar. South Africa 61, Mozambique 67.
Excellent team win by Mozambique. A little bit of scoring from everybody, heroics from everyone. Very, very, very entertaining game for the fans that are starting to fill in for an entire day of basketball.
Yeah, plenty of basketball to come. Here's the numbers on the day. You can see Mozambique shot very well from 2-point land, even on the rebounds, but Mozambique's ball movement meant they got more assists, and both teams took care of the ball reasonably well. But a great victory for Mozambique, coming here and knocking off the neighbours South Africa. Prinsloo and Tholo were the main architects for South Africa. Ubisi and Kanavete led the way for Mozambique. And that's the game leaders across all the statistics. But just a very hard-fought game. And it went right down to the wire. As neutrals looking back over these highlight plays, it's exactly what we came to see, hard-fought, and eventually the team that made the last couple of scores wins the game.
Absolutely, and you really have to also admire both teams for the way that they were able to stick with both of their game plans. Mozambique running the floor, doing their best to make all of those shots they needed, knock down some open and contested threes when they really needed to. And meanwhile, South Africa, as soon as they got their inside game rolling, they became a very serious threat in this game to overtake the lead and eventually get the win, but it just wasn't in the cards. Just one too many misses under the rim, just one too many turnovers at pivotal moments. And of course, the biggest story for South Africa was their bigs just could not stay out of foul trouble in the first half, and because of that, no one could really catch a rhythm until it was already too late.
Yeah, Gabriel, he found out he only managed about 15 minutes, but I saw him at the end of the game. He just walked straight to the locker room. Very frustrated figure he cut for sure. Prinsloo did have an impact, mainly when he was doing that. Fake the three, put the ball on the floor. He was very effective. at that, but they just didn't quite have enough, the South Africans, and Mozambique held on to win, and they will enjoy that victory for sure.
Absolutely. And above all else, Mozambique now taking the lessons from this game, understanding that if we play our game, we're going to be competitive every time. The free throws could always still use just a little bit of work, especially down in the end. They would have easily walked away with a comfortable win here had they have just knocked down a couple extra free throws in the final quarter. That's a factor they still have to try and work on, but for what it's worth, their three-point shooting, especially in the second quarter, was very, very effective. It's what gave them that lead in the first place that they never really did relinquish. But overall, Mozambique has to be very pleased with how they played and how they reacted to the South African push in the late stages of the game.
Yeah, they really finished the game off well. South Africa threw everything they could at it, but they didn't quite have enough to overcome Mozambique, and it's Mozambique who moved to 1-1 in the group. South Africa dropped to 0-2. And that's pretty much that on South Africa's chances of qualifying. It's not mathematically done until the other game has been played, but it's almost there. Mozambique, the victors, here on day 2 in Dakar. We'll see you for the next game soon. Goodbye.